Hello and welcome to the HONOO Rising in Nagoya. I'm your host, Brick 9mm, and alongside me is my broadcast partner, and his name is...
Xemyr. I am here, and I exist, mostly.
Yes, he exists, and tonight we have exciting 6-match card for you, beginning with Azumi Takahashi taking on Anton Mikhailov. It is the second round KISHIN black belt match. Now, Xemyr, you made the prediction that may be the best match we see all night.
Yeah, Azumi, hasn't really won many of her matches here, but she's always been a very stiff competitor against anyone who she's faced. And Anton has a very slow, efficient, relentless style that I think would complement that intensity very well.
Yes, and Azumi managed to defeat Wild Mike to get where she is today. That's crazy. I mean, Wild Mike, he's about to challenge the HONOO World Heavyweight Champion.
It's definitely a lot of momentum going into this fight.
And then next, we will see Midnight Jones take on Makenzie O'Rourke. This is a very unpredictable matchup because Midnight Jones is that bastard who sided with Community Chest and Mr. Monopoly and the Off. But he's a very talented fighter. Meanwhile, Makenzie O'Rourke has it all on paper, but is continued to fail to deliver in these matchups.
Makenzie, she's been taken out a lot by the fact that she's one of the smallest competitors here at HONOO. She doesn't have the reach, she doesn't have the power, but what she does have is heart, and she's stuck around in any fight she's been in. And especially against Midnight Jones, all it's going to take is one big punch and it's going to end the fight.
And then next, Ricky Backdrop will take on Todd Mitchell. This is a similarly unpredictable matchup because Ricky Backdrop is the second best wrestler in HONOO Pro. But Todd Mitchell, the master of the speed run, was an eternal fall guy until he managed to defeat Bluce on that last episode of HONOO Afterburn.
I've still got to give it to Ricky Backdrop because Todd Mitchell hasn't shown anything terribly impressive until that last match, whereas Ricky Backdrop is a mainstay, and really, if the cards had fallen the right way, he could be our HONOO champion right now and not competing for the Kishin black belt.
That's right. And then next, Lukas von Hahn will take on Bluce. Yes, this is a rematch, I think. These competitors have faced each other before, and it is exciting every time, but Lukas von Hahn just has that natural advantage. He's only a few weeks removed from facing Danny Thorpe at HONOO number 3. That is, of course, assuming that Wild Mike does not beat Danny Thorpe at the Rising in Kyoto.
I mean, either way, Lukas von Hahn has punched his card for a title shot, and he's got to be careful here because Bluce can throw some mean kicks, and if Lukas von Hahn is looking ahead to his title fight, then he might just overlook his competitor tonight.
Then Vanessa Saunders will take on Ricky Quick. Saunders just had an all-time great performance against Saint Anger on that last episode of HONOO Afterburn. The match barely went a second over 2 minutes as she laid into Saint Anger kick after kick, knocking her out and potentially damaging, but not injuring, her shin. Ricky Quick is a bit of an iffy competitor. His luck. He doesn't have very much luck, but with that lack of luck, he makes it up with heart.
Ricky Quick's insanely skilled, but every competitor here is insanely skilled, and Vanessa Saunders has got momentum and has got a brutal series of kicks that I would guess would propel their victory here.
And in our main event, Tyson Apollo will be facing Ross Cromley. This match was a long time coming for Ross Cromley because he felt shafted at HONOO number 2 when Sam Bob got this great title opportunity against Richard Richards. Well, not title opportunity, but a very high status competitor that Richard Richards is. And Cromley was forced to face Bop's leftovers in Kilbo the Kickboxing Clown. Now, following Cromley's devastating loss against Sam Bop, it seems like he's just a mere stepping stone for Tyson Apollo, the appetizer before the incredible match that will be Tyson Apollo versus Sam Bop. However, Ross Cromley is not out of this fight yet.
Cromley, he's got a lot going for him in that he's a very aggressive competitor, but Tyson Apollo has just again and again shown that he is maybe the most skilled boxer in this company, with his impressive performance in the G1 and just his repeated destruction of his opponents. And I don't know if Cromley can handle a competitor of that caliber.
It is now time for our first match, Anton Mikhailov versus Azumi Takahashi in the KISHIN Black Belt, second round. Anton Mikhailov is here, and he is here to break arms in the name of glorious Mother Russia.
Sometimes legs too, we can't forget about the legs.
Yes, he is a master working limbs. It does not matter what it is, it does not matter if it's an arm, a leg, or even a finger. Meanwhile, Azumi Takahashi's bag is all in the arm work.
Now, early in this match, we can see Mikhailov being a bit arrogant, throwing these reversal strikes anytime Azumi tries for a grapple.
Yes, he's being very, very defensive here, and he keeps putting himself in position. He's baiting Azumi Takahashi like that.
He pulls her into guard and then goes into that great cross arm breaker.
It's a very skilled strategy, but here he's changing his focus. But Azumi is skillfully weaving in and out.
You see, on one hand, Azumi is very practiced in arm work, and so working on arms is efficient. On the other hand, she's got some brutal kicks, so working on the legs is also very efficient.
Yes, Azumi has a lot of paths to take here, but will Anton let her walk on even a single one of those? He just keeps laying in with that arm work and switching up on the fly. This man knows. He knows what his goal is, and he is pursuing it. A burning spirit. There he is, with the Northern Lights suplex, transitioning into a cross arm breaker, and just dumping Azumi Takahashi on her head.
It's something we don't see often from Anton, but he is a very powerful competitor, as well as being very technically skilled. So every once in a while, he will send out these massive suplexes.
Now, Azumi is the last karateka left in the KISHIN Black Belt tournament. This is her chance. This is the greatest chance to ensure that a karateka stays in the race, but with Anton Mikhailov's offense so far, I'm not sure that can happen.
Azumi, again, impressive attempt at the rodeo stretch there, but Anton knows how to escape that rather quickly.
And Anton just continuing to lay in with the limb work. However, Azumi is showing off her superior skill, but every time Anton rushes Azumi, she ends up on the mat. And Azumi with the Wakigatame.
Again, Azumi still has her arms up to defend herself even after all of this arm and leg work, which shows that she at least still has a good deal of fight left in her.
Of course, heart can only take you so far. Anton Mikhailov is pure technique, focused destruction. But Azumi counters. The butterfly necklock. Azumi, her comeback is in full effect as we head into round 3. But Anton, back with the limb work.
Map work there, being able to. And here we see Azumi. Her arms are just absolutely destroyed. She can't even bring them up to defend her head any longer.
And this may be it.
She's fighting her heart out, you have to give her that.
But every time Anton locks in another one of those cross arm breakers or an arm bar, it could be it. But Azumi counters cross arm breaker of her own, but it may just be too late for her. But she's fired up. With 2 massive kicks and going to work on that leg.
You see, karatekas have this adept ability to come back from the brink of death, and it always seems like they hit harder right as they're about to die.
And die she just might. And yes, Anton Mikhailov systematically destroys the last karateka left in the KISHIN black belt tournament. How ironic is that? The black belt. Symbolic in karate, in martial arts. But the wrestlers have this tournament under wraps.
Regardless, Azumi showed a ridiculous amount of resilience there, fighting through dozens of cross-arm breakers and leg breakers.
Welcome back to the HONOO, rising in Nagoya as Midnight Jones will take on Makenzie O'Rourke. It is our first boxer versus boxer matchup of the night. Midnight Jones, as always, has Community Chest in his corner.
That said, at the very least, Community Chest doesn't seem to be interfering in these fights. They seem to be...
They're silent observers.
That So what we're going to have here is we're going to have a great boxing match between two skilled competitors, but you've got to think that the presence of community chest has got to be weighing on Mackenzie's mind. Even just the off chance that they try something here tonight like they did against Victor.
Yes, it's intimidation. When you see community chest in Midnight Jones' corner, you think, man, I could end up just like Victor Kai, who we have not heard from since HONOO number 2. We don't even know if he's alive right now. Now this is a pure slugfest. But Makenzie O'Rourke seems to have a partial advantage with her fast strikes. In fact, she knocked down Midnight Jones before. But Midnight Jones has begun his assault, his calculated assault with these strike rushes, and I don't know if she can keep up.
Regardless, this is going to be very even for at least the first round. These two seem to be... They seem to know each other's style pretty well.
Makenzie just landed a knockout punch, and that could have been the difference maker. Those body blows, of course, neither fighter has triggered a fall until now. Midnight Jones is up at the 6 count. And Makenzie is down as well. Community chest is making some noise. But Midnight Jones with a last impactful strike rush at the end of round 1.
That's really going to put the punctuation on it going into round 2. He's maybe even got a bit of head games going on here.
And a dirty, a cheap move, a headlock, followed by punches, that's barely legal, and a headbutt. But I mean, Makenzie
is body blow.
Makenzie is absolutely not out of this fight. In fact, this might belong to her. Of course, if that last strike rush was the punctuation, that was the exclamation point. Entering into another exchange of strikes, this is one of the most tense boxing matchups we have seen in HONOO thus far, as any fall could be the last.
If I remember correctly, I think both of these competitors are at 2 counts in this round.
Yes, you may be right, and that punch could've, but that punch, it's over. Midnight Jones has claimed another victim. Who can stop this man?
I don't know, but that was... Although Midnight Jones was a clear victor there, I feel like 5 times out of 10 that would go the other way as well.
Yes, Makenzie O'Rourke almost had that match in the palm of her hand, but Midnight Jones, he's just too good at this. Welcome back to the HONOO Rising in Nagoya. I'm your host, Brick 9mm, along with my colleague. His name is Xemyr. Say hi, Xemyr.
Hi, Xemyr.
Ah, I love it when he's snappy.
Alright, so Todd Mitchell with the nice suit. He has the advantage in that, at least in this match.
Yes, this is Ricky Backdrop versus Todd Mitchell. It's a very odd matchup, but they're both wrestlers. Ricky Backdrop is the second best wrestler in all of HONOO, and Todd Mitchell's Todd Mitchell.
Todd Mitchell's very fast, and he's showing these very fast leg tackles, but they don't seem to be hitting anything, which might be a mistake on his part.
And, yeah, so this is a very weird matchup because Ricky Backdrop, his offense is based entirely on getting those backdrops and on getting those power moves in, whereas Todd Mitchell is a more traditional fighter. So despite there being a very wide skill gap, if you look at the numbers, Todd Mitchell might have a serious chance in this match.
Yeah, Todd Mitchell, because if he can block Ricky Backdrop's duplexes and big throws in the early match, he can just get this huge advantage with these full Nelsons and other working holds that Backdrop might not be able to come back from.
If he can weather the storm that is Ricky Backdrop's barrage of backdrops, he might just have this 1-1.
A nice slam there from Backdrop from a mount, though.
Yeah, Backdrop is already showing off his impressive arsenal of power moves.
On the other hand, Todd Mitchell seems to be working over these arms and shoulders with the full Nelson and the latch lock.
Yes, Backdrop has been unable to get a backdrop on thus far, but it is round 1 as fully expected. It's round 2 and anything can happen now. Mitchell going for a risky tackle there, but it does not pay off. Unless his tactic is confusing his opponent, in which case is paid off splendidly. And that back switch sequence, that was insane.
You see, these two they're circling each other rather reliably. Neither of them wants to make the first move because both of these competitors know that the other one's very good at stuffing takedowns. There we go.
This Backdrop knows that all of those backdrops he has, those moves that distinguish him here in HONOO, that he has to choose his spots or else the results of a failed attempt are just disastrous for him. As you can see with Todd Mitchell actually showing a bit of a dominant performance here. And there with the... That was a massive German suplex.
That's something we don't see often from Todd Mitchell. But
this is a side of him we're unfamiliar with.
He's got a strict advantage here, and he's going to go for these big moves before Backdrop gets a chance to. It's honestly a rather clever strategy.
Of course, Backdrop continues to avoid that, but he took that massive German suplex once. And that, when you take something like that, you don't just come back from it.
Yeah, you've landed on your neck, you might have compressed your vertebrae. Sure, he got back up quickly, but he's feeling that for the rest of the match. Probably for the next week.
Heading into round 3, Mitchell has the clear advantage here, but Ricky Backdrop is the second best wrestler in HONOO Pro. He can even the odds in an instant. Being a bit defensive here in the opening minutes of this match, but Ricky Backdrop instantly demonstrates why as he hits not one slam, but 2 from the mount position. And is he going for another one? No, Mitchell won't let him. Mitchell locks in the cross arm breaker, but no, it does not last. Backdrop could have been going for one of his German suplexes there, but Mitchell skillfully slid under him. Backdrop! He hit it! The backdrop. If I'm not mistaken, that may be the first TKO count of this match thus far. It was a one-hit kill!
It's all you need is one backdrop. Like, the German suplex, it compresses your vertebrae, but that backdrop, it's gonna twist your neck to the side as well as just dropping you right on it.
This backdrop proved. He proved, once again, why he is the second best wrestler in HONOO Pro Wrestling. That was insane. Just one hit. One.
That being said, you can't sleep on Todd Mitchell after that performance either, because that was maybe the most dominant we've seen him for the first 2 rounds.
Welcome back to the HONOO Rising in Nagoya. The finals for the KISHIN Black Belt tournament have been decided. It will be Anton Mikhailov versus Ricky Backdrop, wrestler versus wrestler.
And that match, if Todd Mitchell is anything to go by, is going to be a very intriguing clash of styles. Just like this match here with Lukas von Hahn versus Bluce is.
Yes, Lukas von Hahn in this match that can perhaps be seen as training for his match against Danny Thorpe later on the HONOO number 3.
No, you can say it's training, and I'm sure Lukas von Hahn came out here with the idea that this is training, but Bluce is a staunch competitor and has an array of impactful kicks like that one right there.
Yes, this is not a mere sparring session.
This is not going to be a walk in the park for von Hahn by any means.
Because von Hahn has a long road ahead of him, unlike guys like Wild Mike, the man who will be challenging Danny Thorpe for the HONOO World Heavyweight Champion in the Rising in Kyoto next week. Wild Mike, he's uncontrollable. I'm not sure what can happen with Wild Mike now that his chains have been unleashed, and that he will be facing Danny Thorpe.
I don't know. What we saw last week was absolutely ludicrous, and Wild Mike dominated his opponent in what I can only describe as the Pizza Club Fight League.
That was insane. Speaking of insane, this has been a very fast-paced matchup. Rarely a second goes by and you don't look over and they are in yet another hold.
It seems like Lukas here has a great strategy. He's waiting for Bluce to throw a strike, and he's just catching it and transitioning into a submission hold. If he can keep that up, seeing as Bluce is a very accomplished striker, then I don't think we're going to have any doubt as to who's winning.
Yes, no doubt. As Lukas von Hahn locks in the ankle lock. Switching up focus for a second to lock in an armbar. Von Hahn pins Bluce Lee down. A barrage of strikes.
And this is Von Hahn's specialty here. He can snap your leg, he can snap your arm, he can just beat you in the face until you're knocked out. And he's comfortable with any of them.
Von Hahn is constantly shaking up his approach. There is no predictability whatsoever to what Von Hahn will do next. As he locks in that Northern Lights suplex into the cross arm breaker. Palm strike rush, and another cross arm breaker. Of course, this focus, he seems to be favoring arms despite his unpredictability. So he has to show legs that same amount of focus, because that's where Bluce Lee excels, kicks, and he knows that.
You see, I think that's part of the game plan here, is like, Bluce Lee came in here, he expected Von Hahn to go after his legs, and so Von Hahn's been going after the arms. Now that Bluce Lee started to change his strategy, he's mixing it up.
Lukas Von Hahn's assault is relentless, and he locks in the orienteering with Napalm Death.
This is just a brutal stretch, both of the legs. And he closes out the round. That very well could have been a submission right there.
Bluce Lee has been defeated by Lukas Von Hahn. He never even stood a chance.
And Von Hahn looks insanely impressive ahead of his title match at HONOO 3, whoever he's fighting.
Yes, Von Hahn is a force to be reckoned with. Welcome back to the HONOO Rising in Nagoya. I'm Brick 9mm, the other guy is Xemyr, and this is Vanessa Saunders taking on Ricky Quick. It's kickboxer versus wrestler.
And Vanessa Saunders, again, is on an impressive streak and is looking to continue it after her other destruction of said anger. And
Yes,
Ricky Quick is looking to just build some sort of momentum in this company.
And she showed an instant callback to that match against Saint Anger with that fierce low kick. Yes, she defeated Saint Anger in little over 2 minutes. Into the match, Vanessa never left her feet. Of course, Ricky Quick He's very unpredictable. He is very quick, but he has one of the worst records out of any wrestler in this promotion, despite being involved in a hot angle with Lukas von Hahn.
You see, at the very least, Ricky Quick can come out of this match saying he did better than Saint Anger.
Yes. And Quick locks in that cross arm breaker, but for only a second. Quick! Uncharacteristically aggressive there.
That was an exceptionally impressive punch, and I don't think Saunders was even expecting something like that.
Yes, wrestlers. Wrestlers are not allowed to focus on strikes, but in a moment like that, just self-defense, instinct, overrides conditioning. Quick is hungry. That is his defining trait. Even if he loses, that burning spirit of his shines through in every single last match he has had here in HONOO Pro Wrestling.
And I think going into the first round here, unless something changes, and it doesn't look like it's going to, I think Ricky Quick's got the advantage here.
Yes, heading into the second round, Saunders has landed a few choice kicks, but Quick is dominated as far as submission work goes, because Vanessa Saunders can't possibly hope to keep up with something like that because she's a kickboxer. But still,
just in terms of pure offense, Ricky Quick has been showing basically everything he's capable of doing in this first round.
And Quick is just trying to get into position to start his next assault, but Vanessa Saunders, with that excellent footwork, weaving in and out, but Quick has her, but not for long. Saunders with another fierce low kick, and a kick strike rush.
Just a brutal knee and then a kick to the side of the head. I'm sure Ricky Quick is dazed after a strike like that, even though he got up immediately.
And Quick, attempting to get her into position, but to no avail, but jumping ankle lock there. Saunders is not relenting, however.
A nice, like, snap chancery there from Ricky Quick, just giving himself a little bit of time to recover after these big kicks.
Quick has had no luck getting his opponent on the mat for long. He's only managed to lock in flash submissions like this. But if Ricky Quick can't get her on the mat, he can't go for big moves like his suplex or the giant swing.
That's true,
but she's down. Quick, at the very end of the second round, locks in the front neck lock.
And that's going to cut off airflow. That's going to... Honestly, that's a brilliant strategy, because cutting off airflow going into round 3 is going to make it a lot harder for her to recover.
But a massive kick rush like that could just cut off consciousness. But Quick has her down and locks in an armbar. Quick with the back roll neck lock. He has picked his focus.
He's trying to cut off airflow. He doesn't think that this late in the match he's going to be able to break down the legs of Saunders, so he's just got to choke her out.
But Saunders has that damage output advantage, and this might be it. Quick, up at the 6 count.
Quick, he still seems to have some fight left in him, and he's going for this rear naked choke right here, which could finish the fight.
And no, Saunders manages to get out, and this could be it. And that is it, Ricky Quick. Ricky Quick has been defeated by Vanessa Saunders. The star on the rise continues on that path.
And Ricky Quick showing what he's shown every time he's had a fight, that he could win any of these fights if anything else goes his way. He's got the heart, he's got the skill, he just doesn't seem to have the luck, and a great fighter needs just a little bit of luck.
It is now time for our HONOO Rising in Nagoya main event as Tyson Apollo takes on Ross Cromley. Tyson Apollo being the greatest boxer in HONOO Pro Wrestling, and despite that, Ross Cromley and Sam Bob were arguing over which one of them was king of the boxers, and that might just be because none of them have ever faced Tyson Apollo until now. Yes, Apollo.
By the record, sure, Tyson Apollo is the greatest boxer here, but Ross Cromley and Sam Bopp, and maybe even Midnight Jones, all have staked their claim as the best power boxers in this thing. It's just Tyson Apollo has a great mix of finesse and power.
Yes, so Tyson Apollo's excellent record may just be because he has never faced Cromley or Sam Bopp. So here he is facing Ross Cromley, and at the Rising in Kyoto, he will face Sam Bopp in a match that we were definitely looking forward to. And Cromley with those elbow strikes.
Cromley, again, he's showing how he's a significantly more powerful boxer than Tyson Apollo is. He's bigger, he's more muscular, he's going to have a lot more force behind each of these strikes. But Tyson Apollo, he's fast, he's agile, and he has got an exceptional amount of knockout power, as we saw in the G1.
Yes, as we saw in the HONOO GP, but what the hell just happened?
That was a spinning back fist, and I think Tyson Apollo just landed on his head.
I am at a loss for words.
That was incredible. I'm not sure that settles the question of who's the better fighter, but Ross Cromley picked his moment, and he just destroyed Apollo.
Cromley, it's like he's forcing the men in charge to consider, why is Tyson Apollo the man who will be rematching against why is Tyson Apollo the man who will be facing Sam Bopp instead of a rematch between Ross Cromley and Sam Bopp? He's just, that was insane.
He's livid. That was the most brutal strike I think we've seen.
Yes, Cromley, he knows that there's an injustice going on, and he is seeking to fix it in the most impactful way possible, with that Urtakin just sending Apollo straight out of the ring.
Whatever it was, either way, that was a shocking way to end our night tonight.
Yes, that was insane. And even if Tyson Apollo still goes on to face Sam Bopp at the Rising in Kyoto, Ross Cromley will get his due. thank you for watching the HONOO Rising in Nagoya. I'm your host, Brick 9mm. He's...
I'm Xemyr LeBeau.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.